Welcome to my podcast, Survivor Not by Chance. Today's episode, we will be speaking on the part 2 of removing the mask. I would like to begin by saying I'm not a licensed psychologist, I'm not a licensed therapist, and I'm not licensed to give medical advice. Please do not take the information that I'm providing as medical advice. This is just information on my story. So today I would like to go a little bit deeper into the removing a mask. And last time I talked about some of the things that were behind the mask and what I felt like I was hiding, but I didn't go into too many specific details in regards to the reasons I wanted to keep a mask on. So a lot of the reasons I had a mask on as a result of the traumatic experiences I had was, one of them was pain, fear. I felt unloved. I was abused. I was neglected. I was hurt. I was ashamed. I had a lot of insecurities. And one of the reasons I did keep a quotation mark mask on to not show my true self was because I was very insecure. From a little girl up until recently, I would say a few years ago, I became more secure within who I am as a person. I thought I was ugly. I thought I was very unattractive. I had a lot of issues in regards to my appearance. I thought I was fat. I thought I was the worst person ever. As a child, there were many times where I did not want to live. I did not want to go to the next day. I did not want to see the next minute. I would hide literally in a room, in a corner, or I would lock myself in a bathroom and I would hide, and sometimes I would get a book and I would read a book, and that's actually what kept me going, because I would escape and reading books and get caught up in the books. And sometimes I would wake up literally on the bathroom floor because I would fall asleep because I was so exhausted from everything that I was carrying, the weight that I was carrying, the pain that I was carrying. I would wake up on a bathroom floor from, hiding. In regards to me not wanting to live, it was because I had so much that a child should never experience, but I thought it was normal. I thought seeing domestic violence in my home was not domestic violence. I thought it was just, adults got into a fight as usual, and that was the end of the discussion. And then, an hour later, everything's okay. I would get into physical altercations with siblings. Physical altercations to the point where we literally tried to stab each other, tried to knock each other out. Adults would encourage us to physically fight each other, and that it was okay to do that. And I was just tired. I was so afraid. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I just didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't have anything to live for. I didn't have anyone to tell me they loved me. I didn't have anyone to make me believe that I was loved, because I didn't know what love was. I never felt real love. I really didn't, and I couldn't understand why I didn't feel love. So, I would hide. And that mask helped me hide all of that to the world. Me feeling unattractive, me feeling literally ugly. I remember I used to look in the mirror and I would just be disgusted at what I saw in the mirror. Adults would tell me certain things, and the things that they would say would make me feel as if I was not not good enough. Like I used to hear, "Oh my God, you look just like your father. You look just like your sperm donor." But I never heard "you're pretty." Children need to be validated. People need to be validated. Adults need to be validated. Teenagers need to be validated. I was never validated as a child. I was never validated as a teenager, and I was never validated as an adult. I learned how to validate myself. Thank goodness, because of it, I learned that I am beautiful. I learned that I'm not just beautiful on the outside, but I'm beautiful on the inside. I also learned that even though I'm not the size that I want to be clothing wise, I'm still beautiful. I still have a beautiful shape. I still am who I am, and I embrace it. I used to feel as if I wasn't a size 2, that my body was just a mess and I was just sloppy and it was just all over the place and nobody would ever want to be with me. But that's not what beauty is, and that's not what I should have felt as a woman. I'm glad that I have been able to completely remove the mask that I wear when I'm outside of my house, to when I come home, I feel secure, I feel safe, I feel at peace. I feel that I can just be myself. I can be silly. I can laugh. I can joke. I can play. I don't have to worry about offending anyone. I can just be who I am. And a lot of people who are listening to my podcast, some people may know me by my government name, Asia, but I go by Nikki. I've created the person who I am today. And I am proud of who I am. I'm proud that I don't have to hide who I am or be ashamed of who I am anymore. And that I can go out into the world and I can be myself. It takes a lot of growing, a lot of work. I remember I used to look at a lot of shows, and one show in particular I watch. It's called I'ma Fix My Life. And I never understood why she would always say to the people, "You have to do your work." And I'm like, what? How are you supposed to do that? Do your work? What is she talking about? I didn't get it. When I first started watching the shows, and she was always say, "You have to do your work. You have to do your work. You have to do your work." And I'm like, what work? What work is this lady talking about? But I totally get it now. I am still in the process of doing my work. And what she meant, you know what? I can't even say what she meant. But my understanding of do your work means do your research and find out who you are as an individual person. Find out why you react to certain things the way you react to them. For example, if someone calls you fat, why do you go off on that person? Or why do you not say anything? Or for example, if someone calls you beautiful, why do you say, "Oh, who, me? Oh, yes, you. You are beautiful." Accept that you are beautiful and that someone is calling you what they see you as. So, doing your work can mean various different things. For me, doing my work meant I needed to research my PTSD to learn Why do I have PTSD? I know the doctor said that I have it, but why do I have it? What caused me to have it? Not only what caused me to have it, but what do I see as triggers when my PTSD may flare up? So I needed to learn my triggers. I needed to learn when I'm triggered, what do I do when I am triggered? So for example, I have a lot of flashbacks, visual flashbacks. I can be present in a moment and somebody can say a word, I can smell something, I can hear a sound, and it can take me right back to the time of me sleeping on the bathroom floor, or it can take me right back to the time where I saw my mom over the stove cooking up crack cocaine. It can take me back to the time where I smelt the crack cooking in the bathroom or in the kitchen or in the entire house. Anything can trigger you and can take you back to any situation. For me, I've learned that when I do have triggers, I need to step back, pause, stop what I'm doing, and remember I'm not there. In today's present time, and I am safe, because a lot of my triggers took me back to a time where I did not feel safe. So a lot of the times, I just remind myself I'm safe where I am. Nobody can hurt me anymore. And I will not allow that flashback or that trigger to take me back to a place where I feel hurt and lonely. So that's where my work came in. And the podcast has actually helped me do my work and to help myself heal. Back to the topic of removing a mask. So a lot of people mask pain. A lot of people mask hurt. A lot of people have been traumatized and taught that trauma is okay, number one, and that trauma should never be spoken of. We need to do better. We need to move forward. We need to know that us speaking our truth will help not just only ourselves, but it will also help other individuals who are struggling with the things that we struggle with. If we never remove our mask, we will never be able to help that one person who thought they were by themselves and that they were struggling all by themselves. I am remove my mask because it just feels so free and liberating. I don't think that I would ever be able to be the person I am today if I was not finally able to take off that hot, stuffy mask. I'm just so glad I was able to do it. I really, really am. And I'm grateful that I understand now that, I had to wear that mask to cover myself. I felt like I was protecting myself. I think that's what it was. It's a defense mechanism. When we're children, we learn different defense mechanisms that we can use to move forward and to try to keep going. For example, when men cry or when boys cry, they tell them, don't cry. You're a man. Be a man. Men don't cry. When in actuality, it's not the truth. Men can cry and should cry. And boys can cry and should cry. That shouldn't be a defense mechanism. If they see that they start showing emotions, they should just shut down their emotions. That is something that is part of a mask, a man covering their face, not showing their tears. If you ever notice, if you see on television shows, even a lot of these reality shows, you see some of these men crying and you're like, what in the world? Why are they crying? They should cry. They should show other boys and they should show other men that it's okay to show emotion. They should show that it's absolutely okay to be a human. The problem is